Hey everybody, it's Thomas. Let's talk about Blood Bowl League of Blood Bowl. Oh, what a week. Normally I say that with a little more enthusiasm in my voice because, as you might see, there's some sad, some sad things going on my team. We can talk about things that happened when we talk about the game, which we'll get to in a little bit here, but let's talk about team management stuff because that's what we do. I got a couple levels up, which I'm pretty excited about. I got a level up on Annie Get Your Gum, which is great. Annie Get Your Gum has a smash knee now, which, as we said time and time again, if I'm going to get a permanent injury, please let it be niggling. And because she leveled up, she gets block. Block is just so good on Pitfighter Cultists. Just absolutely one of the best skills. So the good news is I've got Pitfighter Cultist with block. The bad news is she's out next week. Other points. Wigs, and Socks leveled up. Hit level 16 thanks to some stunning pass play to farm it out. I got greedy. I couldn't help it. And that means that he gets guard, which is A+ awesome block guard. Obviously, there are more skills I'm going to want this Corn Herald to get, like Mighty Blow, Tackle, maybe. Dauntless is certainly worth considering, but probably not, honestly, because he has horns. So at this point, as far as I'm concerned, Wigs, and Socks can gain no SPP for the rest of the season and be totally fine. Block and guard, great. That's really all I really want from this player. Again, there's a ton of good skills to get, but for the time being, this is great. Stickers for Men, picked up another touchdown here, I think. Or maybe it was the week before. I don't remember how many touchdowns I had last week. The important thing is I'm one touchdown away from getting level 3 with Stickers for Men as well, so that'll be great. Now for the not great part there, though, is I miss next game here, and miss next game here, and my strip ball piece is also missed next game. Yeah, not so great. Maybe the doubly worst part is I'm 10k short of the Bloodthirster. So next week is going to be a big challenge for me. Just 4 loners alone is a lot. I guess I'll be getting a lot of free money, but yeah, it's not the best. Game itself, if you want to watch, is up here. Pretty okay game. Zach pretty much just put the hurt on me and got more injuries than I did. I only 3 dealt by him, 6 sustained for me. That's because a couple of these are from shove outs. A couple of these are from fouls. His dirty player skeleton really did a lot of work on me. And I basically only got the touchdown I did thanks to some lucky pass play stuff. So, I don't know. The elf player in me lives on, I guess. But I don't know. SPP-wise, I got blown out of the water. Zach walks away with 3 casualties, 1 touchdown, and MVP, which is not too bad at all. That's a total of 16 right there, whereas I'm looking at the 1 casualty, 1 touchdown, MVP, and 2 passes, which is 12. So, it could be better. The sad part is the 30, though. I need 40 to get it. I mean, it's one of those weird psychological things where I think if I had gotten 20 or even 10, I would have been like, oh, that sucks so much, but it wouldn't be quite as heartbreaking, whereas this is just really, really heartbreaking. So, yeah, got a lot of pain and suffering to work with. Let's take a look at Zach's side of things, though. 2 levels up for Zach. Chub of the Hut hits level 2, and Lips Be Damned also hit level 2 on the back of some solid hitting, I think. Lips Be Damned also... No, Lips Be Damned got MVP. That's where it happened from. All good things. 50k for Zach as well. So, things to look for would be Ghoul number 4. Team already has an extra zombie, or team already has Ghoul number 3, and the Ghoul number 4 will put it at 13 players, which is a pretty happy number. Just adding zombies would be great from there, or skeletons. Kind of depends. I'm not sure if skeletons are the better long-term investment or not, because there's going to be a fair amount of claw in this league. Getting some skeletons would be okay, because claw doesn't do a whole lot to skeletons, thanks to Thick Skull. So, we'll see. If he kills people and buys the free player instead of forgetting to, there'll be skeletons, so we'll see. But yeah, I would buy Ghoul number 4. I think that's definitely a good idea. Not a lot more this team would need beyond that, honestly. Just, maybe don't put all 4 ghouls on the pitch at once, so you still have some reliability, but you can certainly field them as well. All the ghouls are great players, and getting them SVP is pretty key. Fat Knuckles also needs to hit level 2 and 3, but, we'll probably get it. Could do some vanity passing to get there. So Lips Be Damned, I would get guard here. I would get guard on the Mummy too, barring any doubles, in which case, obviously get block. But I think the white getting guard would help this team out a whole lot. The Undead team is very strong because it has 2 mummies, but it also is strong because it has really solid positionals, and part of that is the whites getting guard to help everybody else hit harder. Especially because Zach is getting stuck in a bunch of huge pileups. I think that would be what I would get here. So guard on both these. Not that fun, but very, very important skills. Mummy's getting guard is just, the first best skill they can get. You're not going to be blitzing with them, so Juggernaut's no good. I could see arguments for getting Stand Firm, but I think guard would provide more utility for the team, and Stand Firm can come at level 3. All right. Other matches of the week. Let's get to week 4 here. We have Skaven versus Vampires. Jessup finally walks away with his win here, with a couple levels up here. Yeah. This game was kind of weird in a lot of ways. Chris was telling me that he felt like the hit dice weren't going his way, whereas Jessup was getting lots of knockdowns, which is not an unfair assessment. Jessup was getting a fair number of knockdowns. But it was also one of those things where, because Jessup was knocking Chris down relatively consistently enough, and Chris was having, I would say, about average amounts of bloodlust issues, it's hard to get hits in and hard to get pows in when you're not hitting that much to begin with. So I think Chris played very well. He got some pieces taken out relatively early on, just in terms of casualties happening and just bloodlust misbehaving. And from there, I think he did a pretty good job of fending off when he can, but Jessup managed to squirrel the ball away. I think the higher mobility of the Skaven team was a pretty big factor here as well. Just being able to get the ball and get it far away from the Vampires was a pretty big deal. SPP-wise, Jessup got 60, which is pretty great, but SPP-wise, 3 casualties, 2 touchdowns, a pass, and an MVP is a whole lot of SPP, which is absolutely great. 18 SPP for the week for Jessup is a well and welcome relief. Chris, on the other hand, only 2 casualties and an MVP is 9. Chris can take some solace, though, in killing somebody. Not as exciting as, say, an undead player killing somebody, but it's always good to hurt somebody. And as you can see, it was Balderdash who took the hit. Balderdash got a doubles and taken 2 heads, I believe, which I don't like as much. I think there are better mutations to take if you're going to take a mutation on a gutter runner. But hey, it's okay. Other things that have happened, some level ups have occurred. I believe these people didn't have levels up before. Yeah, I don't think so. Bullshit hits, get a second MVP and got a double and got Claw. I have mixed feelings about this. On the one hand, Claw is a very, very good skill. Let's take a look at what Claw looks like on this dude. Oh, just giant warpstone fist things. Okay, that's cool. I wonder if those come whether you get Claw or not. Either way, that's cool. Anyway, Claw is obviously a very good skill, especially with Mighty Blow and Frenzy. It's what makes the Bloodthirster so intimidating once you get level 2. It's what makes a lot of other huge players intimidating, like the Chaos Minotaur. Just Claw in general, fantastic skill, especially when you have Mighty Blow already and your high strength. That said, I really feel like if you have a doubles roll, you need to take block on a big guy. It's not a question necessarily of whether you super value hitting on both downs, which I kind of do because with Loner, it's pretty risky to roll them. But you can get around that with Juggernaut, I suppose, especially with Wild Animal, you're only blitzing. But the key thing here, I think, especially in this league, is that block provides a whole lot of protection. With a Norse team, a Chaos Dwarf team, Chaos team, my team, there's a whole lot of people that are going to want block, that are going to already have block. It's such a key skill for a reason. Justin made the argument that it's overvalued by a lot of people in this league, and that's not unreasonable. I think Wrestle is a very good skill and is undervalued a lot in this league, but in this case, I don't know if Claw is worth it. I can definitely understand the temptation. We'll see. I'm not 100% on that. Thrower picked up level 3 as well, thanks to all the throwing in the world and 2 touchdowns, and an MVP on top of that, and got leader. I think this is okay. I maybe would have leaned towards getting block just to help hit things on defense, especially because he only has one thrower and only has 10 players. Adding another block piece would help this team's reliability out a lot. But Leader kind of does the same thing, going up to effectively 4 rerolls for only 20k more in team value is a pretty good deal. Storm Vermin, Blarney here got a level up as well and took Mighty Blow. I really don't like this though. I feel like Guard is the much more reliable and nicer piece to have. Especially in this league where 3 strength, 7 armor value, or in some cases less than that if he picks up more injuries, isn't really that great. It's okay, but if you have Guard, you're more likely to take hits. I guess the counter argument could be made that if you are getting into a toe-to-toe fight with Skaven, you're going to have a bad time anyway, so having the controlled, more targeted removal that Mighty Blow offers might be better. I don't know. I just feel like Guard gives the team itself more stability overall, and that's kind of what I think. I kind of think that's what you want Storm Vermin to do. I think there's good arguments for Mighty Blow, though, and I'm certainly, it'll certainly do good work for him. I just feel like maybe Guard is the more worthwhile choice. It's not like Mark's team where you already have block everywhere and a lot of other reliability skills built in, so you can get hits through your strength and skills. It seems like a questionable outcome. Mighty Blow, though, great skill. I mean, if everything goes to plan, it'll accelerate his SPP growth, and then he can get Guard or Piling On or whatever Jessup wants to give Blarney here, but that'd be my thought. Bunch of people still within 1 MVP of getting a level up here, so hopefully that works out for Jessup. He had just enough money to hire Balderdash number 2, though, so he's got a Gutter Runner again going into next week, which is going to be pretty rough. At this point, he just needs to keep saving up for his other Gutter Runners. That's kind of the only thing worth buying. A second thrower long term is probably okay, but he wants all 4 Gutter Runners first, and that's, another 240,000 gold away, so we'll see. Still, nice to see Jessup pick up a win here, and good for him to get some SPP, even if I don't necessarily like all of his skill choices. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he gets another double. We'll see, but whatever. Chris had a bad week, obviously. Still rolled a ton of money, got 70, though. The bad news is that Detrius here, his Super Thrall is out with -1 armor value, which is really rough. 6 is not a happy place to be. And no level ups on the Vampire as well, although Lady Marglotta did get 2 from killing the Gutter Runner, so he can put his feather in that, I guess. Did get a level up here on Leonard, which I think is a pretty good deal, obviously. More block, I'm assuming, is what's coming up, although it might be worthwhile to consider Dirty Player. We'll see. I don't know. Lots of interesting choices you can do on a Thrall because there's so many of them. I think block is probably what he'll go for, is to increase the team's hitting reliability. We'll see what he rolls, though. Maybe he gets a double, and then he can get Guard or something fun like that. I was talking to Chris about what he wants to do. He has money to buy Vampire number 4, but Chris is really not liking how quickly he's churning through Thralls, which, especially because he has 2 out, I don't disagree with. He could easily buy 2 Thralls, and then he'd still be able to roll 40, which not too impossible given his fan factor. Yeah, he went down, but still, he's got a pretty good chance of winning the fame roll regardless. So he's roll 40, at which point, which I don't think he's rolled under 50. Yeah, he's never rolled under 50 this season, of course. So at that point, he didn't roll. He didn't roll 50 to get Vampire number 4. So 2 Thralls would put him up to the 10 that he wants. So that might help, especially because he has 2 out. It wouldn't be a bad idea to go back up to 11 players, avoid the mercenaries, and have more Thralls for week 6. So there's that. Let's take a look at some other matches here. Not that one, not that one, this one. We have Mark versus Orville. Norse versus Dark Elf. Did not go great for Orville. Mark walks away with 60k. Basically, this is Mark taking out 4 players almost immediately. Yeah, 4 casualties, 5 KOs. There's not a lot you can do when you get down that many players so early on. It's just rough. There's nothing you can do. Mark basically was able to hit people and steamroll his way down the court. 4 casualties because Mark is the SPP machine this season. 2 touchdowns and an MVP, which is a whole whopping total of 19 SPP, which makes him our SPP leader for the week so far. Orville walks away with 6, which is really not what you want on a Dark Elf team, but given how beat up he got, there's not a lot more he could really ask for. So, good news, Britta finally got an injury. Britta finally realized that hitting people was fun. So there's that. Level ups here. I don't remember if Troy had level 2 before, but he certainly does now and has block. Abed had Mighty Blow before, I want to say. Levels up here on that Berserker had Mighty Blow before. The Dean and the Mercenary here got levels up here. Really sucks to hire a Mercenary. Totally ruins your naming scheme and you can't rename them. But if you get a level up lineman, you kind of might as well. Oh, weird. Doesn't show any season statistics for that at all. But has an injury and an MVP, I believe. Which kind of sucks, but block and tackle means this piece is pretty solid. I kind of think that Fend might have been better, or arguments can be made for getting another dirty player piece, but probably not worth it at this point. Fend probably would have been, I would have done, just to stick him on the LOS, but block tackle is okay, especially because people are going to start picking up dodge in the near future, and it's good to have pieces prepared already. Speaking of dodge, the Dean picks up dodge here, going block, dauntless, dodge. This piece is going to be very annoying to hit, and is going to hit very hard. Pretty good, all things considered. No other progressions here. Mark rolled 60, but because you rolled so poorly against me the week before, he doesn't have a ton of money here. He's sitting at 100k, still needs to save it for reroll number 3. Next week, he's almost guaranteed to get it, assuming he can win or gets a fame roll, which, not impossible, certainly. Rolling a 2+, or a 3+ is not hard either, especially if you win, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Mark's team is doing Mark's team thing and getting very, very scary. There's a whole lot of punching power here. We'll see what happens as other people start to pick up other hitting skills and more block to negate Mark's block advantage. I mean, to be fair, this team is doing what it should be doing at this point, which is pretty much crushing the hitting values, or hitting game, which is fine. That's what Mark built the team to do, and it's what it's doing. Let's take a look here at the poor team that is Orville. Orville walks away with a sad 20k for his trouble as well. Really disappointing for him. And 2 of his injuries are miss next game. They're just miss next game, thankfully, but it still sucks, especially because the Witch Elf is one of them. Witch Elf is a pretty key piece for this team. Did take block here, did take pass on this runner, which I think is good. Actually, I think he had that before. Whatever. This lineman's out, which is kind of annoying. He can't buy anybody, which really sucks. 10k short. If he'd rolled 30, he would have been able to get a blitzer number 3, which would have been awesome. But this is another one of those weeks where Orville just says, hi, I'm missing a bunch of players, and I still need to get a bunch of stuff. He needs a lot more SPP than he's getting. He needs to start doing more vanity passing, I think. Mentioned this last week, but I think it's, last week 4 he didn't really get a chance to, but he needs to try to get more SPP on these linemen, needs to get SPP on these blitzers. He's really having a bad time. This is one of the things where bad luck early on is snowballing to make things really difficult. Hopefully he can pull it together, though. Still a ton of time left in this season, though, and Dark Elf is a very long development team, so we'll see what happens. And, Blitzer number 3 will add a lot to this team, too. So hopefully he can keep these idiots alive and everything will be okay. This is the first time he's had 2 Blitzers in a while as well. Last couple weeks he's had Miss Next Game on these guys. All right. Last matchup of the week. Oh, yeah, all these games are recorded, by the way, and they'll be in the usual spot. But last matchup of the week is between Chaos and Chaos Dwarf. Did not go the way I thought it would. Great Duck walks away with 50k, and basically, this is kind of what I expected to be a big slugfest. The only difference is Great Duck managed to get the ball away and get a touchdown in the first half. And then from there, even though she was at player disadvantage, managed to hold off. Didn't manage to score, but managed to not get beat up so badly as well. Or no, wait. Misremembering my notes here. Sorry. First half, no score. Second half, she managed to get a touchdown in at turn 12. Yes, turn 12. And, yeah, I don't know. I think it's basically just some lucky hits, getting the ball away and getting a touchdown in. It's kind of the problem the Chaos Dwarf team has, where it's pretty fast, but it can get separated and out of sorts. So I think probably the deployable force strength was a factor as well. It's one of those things where I feel like this is a pretty close game. Could have gone either way pretty easily, obviously. In terms of SPP, high armor teams not hitting each other very hard is not to be unexpected here. Greg walks away with 1 casualty, a touchdown, and an MVP, so a grand whopping total of 10. Andrew not sitting much better with 7, but these are both hitting teams that were hitting against higher armored players, so not a huge surprise there. No level ups for Great Duck whatsoever. However, she did get more than enough money to buy Smilodon Solomonic, which is Minotaur, which is great for me, since I'm playing her next week. Good news for me, I guess, is that she's got 2 Beastmen out. Small consolation, given that she's got all 4 Chaos Warriors still. But extra armors being out is a problem. Certainly, it would have been nicer to have this player on the pitch than not. 0 SPP missing is kind of annoying, but it's 0 SPP. It's not a huge deal. I don't know. Greydek is really close to getting level ups on a bunch of people and just needs to do so. Vanity passing might be in order to get some of these 5 SPP people up to level 6, or level 2, and then just getting touchdowns on like Bobcat Plinth, other people. We'll see. I mean, this team needs to start getting going. It's the same problem Orville has. Greydek needs to get this team going pretty quickly, or she's going to fall behind. Andrew. Some bad news here. Did get a surfed Bull Centaur with a miss next game, which is pretty tragic. No Bull Centaur, no funny. Did pick up Chaos Dwarf blocker number 6, which I think is awesome. Only got 10k. Andrew has not had the best luck in money when he doesn't win. Yeah, not the best. Where did things go here? Looks like the MVP went to this dwarf here. No. Yes. Gotten Iron back. Yeah, MVP and a casualty. Hobgoblin missing. Whatever. Not the end of the world. At this point, Andrew has a lot of choices. I think just saving up for the Minotaur is key. In terms of this level up, Guard, I think, is the only skill worth thinking about. Unless he gets a double, at which point then you get Claw. Because Claw would make this guy really happy. But I think otherwise Guard is definitely the way to go. I think some of them can get Mighty Blow as their first skill, but I think starting out you need like your first 2 to 3 to get Guard, just to keep the wall of iron that is these 6 Chaos Dwarf blockers solid and secure, and then able to hit hard. So bad news, Bull Centaur out. Good news, Chaos Dwarf level up. So that should make this team pretty good. Andrew needs more SPP. He needs a ton of SPP, obviously, but he's getting there. And I think we talk about this all the time, but this team is so good just on its out of the box status or out of the box state that it's not really the end of the world if he doesn't get a ton. It's not the best week for my predictions. I think I predicted a tie here, so it was right there. It was right here. Oh, actually, it was a pretty great week for my predictions. Just wrong on this one, and only just barely. Maybe I said that Zach would win. I don't remember. Maybe I said I would win. I didn't check that part because why would I? So that wraps up week 4. Let's look at some rankings here. Greydek and I tied for first here with 10 points. Kigrusom at 9, and then I called Mark that. Whatever. And then a bunch of people that are way, way below. But it's only week 4. It's not unexpected. Zach, the only person without a win, probably change in the near future because the Undead team gets scarier and scarier. Let's take a look here at week 5. Speaking of Undead being scary and scary, Orville's not going to have a good time in this game. Missing 2 players, so that's 3. Yeah, 3 loners for a total of 10-20 versus Zach's. This is a problem. Undead is so cheap too. Alright, assuming normal levels up, it'll be 11-20. So Orville will get a reroll, I'm guessing, because it'll 100. I mean, if he's feeling scared, he could get Apothecary number 2 as well. Might not be a bad idea. I don't know. Orville can move the ball pretty well, but his team isn't that fast compared to the Undead team. And technically, if Zach gets... Oh, well, actually, he'll get more if Zach gets Ghoul number 4, in which case he could get a Babe, because it'd be at 170 in inducement value. Whatever. 4 Ghouls, extra players, Dirty Player Skeleton, 2 Mighty Blow mummies, whites. Orville has as much guard as Orville does, and he has more dodge, which is pretty terrifying. And elves don't stand up very well. I mean, 8 armor value anythings don't stand up very well to Mighty Blow. Guard Mighty Blow is going to make that even worse. Assuming Zach, keeps his head straight, plays correctly, doesn't get too flustered, he should be just fine. I think that there's nothing that Orville can really do to the mummies whatsoever. If this white gets guard, it's going to be even harder to mess up all this stuff. It's going to be pretty easy for the ghouls to get away to. It's pretty easy for the ghouls to catch up. Miracles can happen, but I don't think this is Orville's game. He's he's got too many key pieces out. Like, if he had his Witch Elf, different story. If he had a third Blitzer, much different story. Elves are really good, though. Elves are fantastic at moving the ball, and he's got enough loners to... he'll have 3 loners, so he can shove them up with the LOS, and they can take the hits while everybody else moves the ball or go gets the ball. So that's the big advantage Orville has here. I don't know. I just feel like if it was another elf team, they'd be fast enough to get away from the pain train that is Undead. But we'll see. As long as Orville dodges out, doesn't leave players standing next to other players except for maybe some loners next to mummies to mark them and keep them in place, I don't see how Zach loses this, though. Might be able to force a tie if Orville plays well, but I'm not liking it. So we'll give that one to Zach. I think he's going to take it away. We've got Skaven versus... Skaven versus Chaos Dwarf here. Let's take a look here. At 50, so 110? Where am I? Come on, Thomas. And let's see, 960, so 1040. What did I say for Zach again? God, I can't keep anything straight today. So yeah, nothing for anybody here, which is not that good for Jessup, because Jessup's going to need something to deal with the punching machine that is Chaos Dwarf. A couple advantages Jessup has going into this. He does have a gutter runner. He is very fast, and he has a fair amount of hitting power with Claw, Mighty Blow, and this Rat Ogre, and also Mighty Blow on the Storm Vermin. That said, that's the only advantages that Jessup really has here. He can throw the ball, and if the gutter runner acts like a deep end receiver, might be able to get some touchdowns here. But I don't know. I think that Jessup has the power to score around Andrew, but he doesn't have the power to deal with all of this. Yes, the Rat Ogre has Claw, Mighty Blow, and will probably take out a blocker, or if Andrew's really unlucky, a Bull Centaur. That's not going to change anything. It's very easy for Andrew to just beat up on that Rat Ogre because of all the block he has. He can clear out all the other pieces. He still has a Bull Centaur, which can theoretically catch a gutter runner pretty easily. I just don't... It's really going to come down to who can... If Andrew can tie up Jessup and keep him fighting, Andrew will be fine. Based on the way Jessup has played in the past and the way that Jessup likes to play in general, I think that's what's going to happen. So I think Andrew has the advantage here. You can't fight against the Chaos Dwarf team if you're Skaven consistently well. If he gets lucky, he can remove a bunch of pieces early. That's his only hope, though. I'm going to give it to Andrew. I think that he can punch his way to victory. We'll see. Gutter runners are fast. The thrower can throw pretty well now. We'll see. Touch and go. We've got Grey Duck versus me here. God. So I don't remember. I did the math a while ago, but before I started recording here, I'm going to get 2K or 200K from inducement money, but I don't know if it matters. So here's the problem I have. Aside from the fact that I basically have no SPP on this team. I might as well have no SPP going into this week. The bigger problem I have is I'm going to have 4 loners. And at that point, I start to have reliability problems. Not just in the idea that I have all these loners. I'm going to have reliability problems in that I can't do things like score a touchdown with all of my people. So if, for example, a loner Pitfighter cultist stands out there and grabs the ball, I'm going to be in trouble because I don't want them to pick up the ball. I don't want them touching the ball beyond maybe to knock it out of somebody's hands and hand it off to somebody else. That kind of problem of I don't want to give away that 3 SPP means that I'm going to have to do more things like attempt handoffs. So we'll see. I'm 10k short of getting a Mercenary Bloodthirster, which is maybe something I could do. I might be worthwhile to try to pick up a Corn Herald, but even then I don't get any real inducements after that. So what I'll probably do is just eat it and take 2 rerolls. I'm not sure though, because with 4 loners, using rerolls is tricky. I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it a little bit. But I don't see me winning this game. It's possible. Frenzy is a magical thing. I don't remember where this thing was in a Dota article, but basically if you're behind in skills, talents, whatever you want to call them, items, whatever, the biggest thing you can do is introduce variability, because bigger random chance things will more likely pay off to you than they will for your opponent if they're ahead. So that's basically what I have to help for. The good news is Frenzy is a built-in probability multiplier, so hopefully things go great for me. But I realistically don't see myself winning this game. Aside from the fact that I have no way to deal with the Minotaur, and I have no great way of dealing with the Chaos Warriors beyond the 2 Bloodletter Daemons, I don't have a deal to deal with the block. Which 1 point of block, not the end of the world, but it can be a factor. And just the deployable force strength is probably going to be my undoing. So we'll see. I don't know. I might decide to get a wizard and a babe instead. But I don't know. I think I need the extra reliability. So we'll see what happens. I don't see myself winning that game, though. There's going to be a lot of probably keep away, depending on how hurt I get, how quickly. Next matchup for the week is Mark's Norse team versus Chris's Vampire team. Let's see here. Level up on the Thrall. We'll put this team to 1070, assuming Chris buys 2 Thralls like he's talked about. That'll put him at 11. Put him at 1150. Yeah, because it'll be plus 100 at that point. Mark sitting at 1270, so only 120 for Chris. I don't even know what you get then. Probably an Apothecary would be the safest thing. Apothecary number 2 would be the safest thing. The Vampires every generation, so they're kind of okay. I don't know, but going it's one of those things where going to 6 rerolls, maybe not that useful. Going to 2 Apothecaries might be a big deal. We'll see. Could hire Mercenary Thralls as well, but that seems sort of unnecessary. Still, might not be a bad idea. He's got some choices there. Could get a Thrall and a Babe, for example, or just 2 Babes. We'll see what Chris decides to do. I think it's one of those things where it will come down to how well behaved the vampires are. Chris basically needs his vampires to be perfect all game. Mark's murder machine is basically the issue. Chris has to hope that Mark's armor breaks more than his does, and that he can deal with the big jerks. Chris technically has more strength than this team does, or equivalent strength at least. But Frenzy can be a big deal, and he's got all this Mighty Blow. Well, these 2 pieces with Mighty Blow. Still, let's tear him out. And on the block is definitely a problem. If the runner is ball carrying too, Chris doesn't have any great way of taking him down. So we'll see. I think Mark has this game. Chris can definitely have Chris luck. He usually does, and things can go his way. But it's a pretty uphill climb. Lots of lopsided battles this week. Except for maybe, I think the only one I would describe as close is Andrew versus Jessup. I think that's probably the closest matchup here. Chris just isn't quite up to speed yet, whereas Mark's team starts up to speed. So we'll see. I mean, he's getting there, but he needs more SPP, and slowly but surely it's going to happen, but we're not quite there yet. So Chris basically has to do the same kind of things I do, which is avoid injuries, avoid getting hurt too bad, and he should be okay. Hall of Fame. Let's take a look here. Most experienced player goes to Abed. Hooray for Abed. Hui on Skaven Shenanigans as well. So we've got 3 players level 3, so good job for everybody that's on that. We're obviously going to hit more soon. I mentioned that last week, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that are 1 touchdown away from getting it. Same argument we made for MVP, and only 2 of them are not eligible for getting it if they only have an injury. So there's that. Some of these people are going to be out, obviously, like Stickers for Men is out next week, so he's not going to get anything, but whatever. Best score, nothing really here. 3s on people is not too unsurprising. Best throwing, yeah, I got 2 throws. Well, 3 throws if you count this one. It's really weird. I don't understand it. But do I have more throws than Orville at this point? Yes, I got more throws than on Elf team, so I'm feeling good about that. Interceptions, still only 1 this week. Most fallen player, Abed, hit the 4. we'll see what happens there. I'll bet I think might run away with it. Starting with Mighty Blow, Frenzy, and Block is probably going to be a pretty big deal. Best running auto runs so far. There we go. First player to make the length of the pitch, which is pretty funny. Best throwing. I love it that I'm there. Survivor means nothing. Best killer. Congratulations to Sally. Oh no, weird. I said Lady Marlotta got it, but Sally got the kill. Sorry, my bad. But good job for Sally. Best receiving. Only 2. I guess we've been throwing pretty all over the place. What do you know? Prediction recap. I think Zach will win. I think that I think Andrew will win. I think that Grey Duck will win, and I think that Mark will win. Lots of stuff on this side, and then Zach. So, yeah, we're getting there. The season's starting to get interesting. We're starting to see some people pull away with it a little bit, but it's still pretty early, and the people that are pulling away with it can easily get hurt pretty easily as well. I'm looking at you, Mark. It's one of those things where rankings doesn't really display this that much. Because I would say, obviously, right now, top team is probably Mark's team. Team value kind of displays that a little bit better. Although, well, I'm pretty close to Mark as well. And once I get the Bloodthirst, my team value is going to shoot up as well. So maybe Mark and I are tied up there, but I'm not in a good spot right now, certainly. All right, cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll talk to you next week.